Okay guys, this is part 2 of the C6 Z06 shock upgrade for the C5 Corvette. Part 1 we did the back, and this is part 2, so let's get started. We're going to raise the vehicle up, take off the passenger side front tire, and have at it. Got the front wheel off, shock absorber straddles the A-arms, lower and upper. I'm going to start with taking the top one off. I'm going to go ahead and give this a little shot of penetrating fluid so it makes it easier. This nut is a 15 millimeter, and the top of, here's the replacement shot. The top of this is kind of got a flat machined into it, and I'm using a 1/4 inch wrench here to hold the flat while I have a 15 millimeter on the nut that's below it to get that off. Okay, here's a better shot. You can see 15 millimeter nut with the wrench on it, and the wrench holding the flat on the shock while I loosen the nut. I also lowered the car a little bit down onto a jack stand holding that A-arm to limit how far down it can go. And with that, I'm successfully able to take the bushing, washer, and lock nut the rest of the way off of the shaft. So that was pretty simple. Next step is to go ahead and get the 2 lower shock mount bolts off. Okay, here's the 2003 C5 shock on the left against the Z06 shock on the right. Clearly physical differences. Hopefully this lends itself to superior handling. The way I got the shock out of here is I compressed it down from the top as best I could, and then I lifted up and slid the bottom side over into this little nook through here to drop it out. So if you, it took quite a bit of strength to do that. If you're fairly strong, you should have no problem. If you're getting up there in years and strength is becoming a little bit of a problem, you might want to get a little help trying to finagle that shock out, because you do have to compress it to slide it out. So I'm going to go ahead and compress this one and see if I can slide it up into position, the C6 Z06 shock. Quick tip on how to compress the shock. Have an assistant compress it for you. Have a noose around a little piece of rope on the top portion, and then thread it through the bottom hole, and when it's compressed, grab it with a vice grip so it cannot extend. Okay, the passenger side is complete. Got the top bolt buttoned down. Got both of the lower shock bolts buttoned down, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. The C6 Z06 shocks, it takes a lot of energy to compress them, and you have to use coat hangers or zip ties, or in my case I actually used a piece of rope to get it to compress, which is the only way you can get it into position to get this up through the upper mount. So passenger side is done. Moving on to the driver's side, pretty much reverse, same thing you did on the passenger side. I want to note the top spec is 15 foot-pounds, and the bottom ones are 21 foot-pounds, or about 250 inch-pounds. If anybody's got a good way to get a torque reading on something like this from underneath the car, let me know. But I did the 15 foot-pounds by the old handometer. One other tip here for the upper 15 millimeter bolt: you don't get a lot of sweep when you're doing this, so this kind of a wrench with the micro ratcheting mechanism will save you a lot of time. You certainly could do it with a regular wrench, but this type of wrench is going to save a lot of time. Okay, driver's side's done. Quite a bit easier than the passenger side, probably because I mastered the rope trick or zip tie trick, or however you want to compress the shock to get it into place. That's the key to the whole operation. I'm going to throw this thing back together and go for a ride. See what I think of the C6 Z06 front and rear shock upgrade. So I've been driving the Corvette a lot over the past few days, and the ride is noticeably more firm. If you're just a Sunday cruiser, and that's why you have a Corvette, leave it stock. If you're more of if you own the car because of its performance characteristics and handling, you're going to love the upgrade. Much more firm, it feels more sure-footed, and much more of a sports car feel. The wheel hop problem I was having, I've done quite a few acceleration runs where I normally would experience wheel hop. It is not cured, but it is noticeably better. So at the end of the day, the cost of the shocks, give or take about $250 for the 4 of them, was it worth it? Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like the video, please hit thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and look to my channel, Toys for Life Space C5, for many more Corvette performance videos. Thank you.